2005 STi. I have been waiting to drive one of these for a very long time. Listen to that sing, oh my gosh. Now for me, it is hard to believe that this car is 10 years old. 10 years old, but it feels brand new. It feels so direct. And that is why these cars are so sought after. Now recently I reviewed an Evo 9 and I compared it a lot to this direct car, like exactly. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit the differences and the similarities between the two, but mainly I wanna talk about the way that it drives. Now there's a million videos on there about a review of the 05 STi. So I'm not gonna get into too technical of the way it drives and all the nitpicky things that are wrong with it because there's already a million videos of that out there. I just want to talk about my driving experience and what it feels like. So the biggest thing that everyone complains about this car is the understeer. It's an all-wheel drive car, you have torque, understeer is gonna happen. The Evo has always been, you know, a slightly bit more confident when it comes to understeer and all that stuff when it, you know, in the aspect of driving on a track or driving back roads like crazy. But for me, the STi has always been the one that if I had to choose, I would have chosen the STi. And as soon as you get above like 4 is like where the sweet spot is. That's where that, you know, I mean, there is a little turbo lag, but I mean, that's where I think the excitement comes from this car. Is right when you get above that, it's like, okay, where's the power? Where's the power? Am I driving an NA car? And then it's like, wham, there we are. So 3.5 first gear, 4, soft shift, we'll ease into it, 4,000, there's boost. And then it starts to sing in that blow-off valve. So power-wise, it's putting about 330 horsepower to the wheel and 330 torque. Stock is about 300 in both areas. So we're a little faster than stock. So the motor, if you do not already know, it's an EJ motor, one of the most notorious motors from Subaru. And this is the same motor that was in the 04. Now this is an 05 STi. So what are the differences? Really, you get some gearing ratio differences with the 05 and you get some new interior refreshments in the 05. This let off, my favorite. So modification wise, we pretty much have full bolt-ons all the way around and a tune. One of the things that I am enjoying quite a lot actually is this cartwheel shifter, excuse me. Now it reminds me a lot of the BRZ, and actually, you know, STIs compared to WRX's transmissions are worlds of a difference. And the stock shifter in an STi feels kind of similar to the cartwheel, except obviously the cartwheel is a little bit shorter as it being a short shifter. But one of the things I love about it is it's so direct and you know exactly what gear you're going into. Whenever I drive WRXs or I review WRXs or I drive a friend's WRX, etc., it's almost like you're kind of guessing for what gear you're putting in, especially if you don't drive it every single day and you're just jumping in it. When you go into gears, it's kind of like, okay, I think this is right. Let's gamble. I hope it's right. And it's kind of scary. It sounds stupid, but it's kind of true. It's kind of scary throwing those in gear. But when you drive an STi, or especially an STi with an aftermarket shifter like the Cartboy, it's just like, bam, you know exactly where it is. You can be super aggressive, and it's perfect. Again, it reminds me a lot of the BRZ. It's very easy to know what you're going into, and it's very confidence inspiring. And downshifts are super easy too. It's no wonder why these cars keep their value for so long. I mean, this car is 10 years old, and at least where I live in California, you can't find a good 05 STi with low miles, kept in well condition, for really that much lower than $20,000. $20,000 for a car that's 10 years old. That's a lot. But I mean, when you get behind, you get to drive one. Performance-wise, it doesn't show its age. I mean, for example, you have these 4-piston Brembo brakes that are melting my face. They brake so hard. And I mean, the car is kind of loud on the inside. I mean, no STi isn't, but a car that's being 10 years old, it is loud. That's one thing. When you ask, like, where does it show its age? Where do you see that? Definitely in like road noise and mechanically, it's really loud. But what performance-based car isn't? Also too, we have this really good looking gauge pod that shows us the boost, and it looks really clean, really nice. And we're pushing about 19 pounds of boost. Stock in an STi 05 is about 14 and a half. So the tune and the bolt-ons kind of turns out quite nicely, to be honest. One thing too that I really appreciate, and I noticed this right when I started the car, is the clutch is so easy. And like honestly, for being a car, I feel like for someone who's a new car enthusiast, someone who's kind of new in the car scene, or you know, it could be anyone in general really, I feel like this car can be kind of intimidating. I mean, it's an STi, it's a performance-based car, it has a giant wing on the back that looks mad. I feel like this car can be really intimidating to a lot of people, especially if they don't know much about it, and it's so easy to drive. It's actually really, really simple, and that's what I like. I mean, the clutch, like I said, it's super easy to get out of it. Downshifting is a breeze. The power comes on, but it's gradual, it's smooth, it's not overbearing, it doesn't kick you in the face and leave you in the dirt. It's like cooperating with you. And also too, run Apex coilovers, which give it a little stiff ride, but it's not too bad. But I would definitely, especially a car being 10 years old, that is something that if you were to get one, I would highly suggest you invest in. Like I said, downshifts are so easy and it sounds so good. So one thing that I wanted to touch on is one of the biggest things people bitch about is the seats in this car. Now as we're just, you know, just driving around here, I don't really, they're kind of holding me in nice, and I'm not a huge guy, I'm a pretty slim guy, but the cloth that they're made out of, it's kind of grippy and it kind of holds me in place. But Bobby here has a harness bracket too, so if you really wanted to be that hardcore, you could put the harness in that could really hold you in, so there's no room for complaining. But I don't really see what everyone complains about. I mean, I'm holding place. I mean, I'm on no track, I'm not pulling any G's or anything, but I'm not really complaining, or I'm not finding myself complaining. And to be quite honest, I forgot to even talk about the seats, or until I just randomly remembered it. I never once was thinking about, wow, these seats are garbage. Third gear, 4,000. Pulls in so nice. And then those big Brembos stopping us with ease. God, I can't get enough of that. Oh, man. Every time you look in the rear view mirror to see who you're chopping, you see that big wing. I love the big wing. If you don't like it, screw you. It's a good looking wing. What says race car like a big wing? And the way it sings, the blow off valve, man, the turbos are so good. And you get the occasional little backfire just to remind you, hey, I'm a race car. So one of the biggest takeaways I'm getting from driving this car is, for a car being 10 years old, now I'm just gonna stress that. For all the old guys out there, they're gonna be like, yeah, it's not that old. But I know a lot of people that are watching this are probably only like maybe 20. That's half your lifetime. Like this, I don't know. It just feels so rigid. I'm not hearing, I mean, there's rattles here and there, but like I said, you're driving a performance-based car, so what can you really expect? But this car has 100,000 miles on it. I'm hooning around like crazy. I'm having a time of my life. I'm not worried about anything. There's nothing that feels like, oh shit, I'm not confident. I don't know if I should be taking this turn like this. Man, it's just so well. And again, that's why they're holding their value. That's why everybody wants one. We've figured it out. They hold their value because they're so damn good. Now, to relate back to what we talked about more in the beginning of this video, Evo or this, I'm sorry, but I'm taking this over the Evo. I'm a Subaru guy at heart, but I'm taking this over the Evo. You can't beat that rumble. You just can't beat that. That's not something that you can compete with. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want your car reviewed, be sure to message me on any social media. Thank you again, Bobby, for letting me drive your car. It's my honor, and we ran into a bro here. An 86 bro. It's gonna be a good time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you next time. Peace out.
Motivation is contagious. Hang out with those who inspire you and strive not to be like them, but only a better version of yourself. You will learn that there is a difference between alone and lonely. Life isn't always easy, but that's the beauty of it. You will learn how to be truly happy, and as much as you don't